This changes everything. On October the 11th, we are going to see the Battle of the GOATs in tested powerlifting. Rondell Hunt versus Joe Borenstein versus Austin Perkins. Who is the pound for pound king? To win the event, you are going to have to put up the most GL points, which is a pound for pound formula. So the winner of this event has a strong case to say that they are the greatest of all time. This is a competition for bragging rights. And my initial reaction when I found out that this crazy event was happening was that most likely Austin Perkins would win pound for pound. I mean, for the last couple of years, he has just been the clear pound for pound king, according to formulas. And so I assume that Joe Borenstein at 22 years old is just not there yet. And Rondell Hunt maybe has a little bit more to go before he is comparable to Austin Perkins, especially because he's a bigger powerlifter. It's more difficult for him to do well on a lot of formulas. So my initial reaction was that Austin Perkins would most likely win the event unless something went terribly wrong. And in my last video, I talked about Rondell Hunt. He is slightly injured. I don't think his training is going too well right now. I think he'll still put up a crazy total, maybe 1,050 kilograms, maybe a little bit more. However, he kind of needs 1,080 kilograms to be competitive at this event. And I don't believe that he is there right now. So I would say that the battle is mainly between Joe Borenstein and Austin Perkins. And after crunching the numbers and looking at Joe Borenstein's recent performance in training, I think it is going to be much closer than I at least anticipated. So first of all, let's look at what Joe Borenstein recently put up in training this week. He did an 885 kilogram total. This included a 300 kg double, which is crazy. A top end 220 kilograms. It was difficult on the bench press. And then he finished off with an attempt of 365 kilograms for a double. He got it for a smooth single, didn't get the double, unfortunately. What does this mean? Well, anyone looking at this total would say maybe his top end is around 890, 895 kilograms. However, any other lifter, I would say, yes, after looking at this total, that's what I would predict. However, Joe Borenstein is a master of executing his lifts. When he's on the platform, he can execute crazily. If I had to put my money on any top lifter to execute their lifts on the platform, I would put it on Joe Borenstein. Plus, with a taper and peak in the next 4 weeks leading up to the competition, I could definitely see him pushing his total up to that 910 kg range. Squatting 310, bench pressing 220. Bear in mind his PR in the bench press is 218 kilograms. So I think 220 kilograms could be there. And then deadlifts, I think he could do about 380 kilograms. I mean, he did 377 at Powerlifting America Nats on his second attempt. So I think 380 kilograms would definitely be there. And these numbers would give him a total of 910 kilograms, which is insane. The most we've seen in the 83s is obviously his performance of 900 kilograms at Powerlifting America Nationals. So he would just be pushing up that total once again, pushing up that standard once again. Now, 910 kilograms, I believe, makes him very competitive with Austin Perkins at this event. Why? Well, Austin Perkins, I predicted that he would probably total around 860 kilograms at this event. At the World Championships, he looked like 860 kilograms was definitely there at the World Championships. I think he only took 2 squat attempts, 2 bench press attempts, and only 1 deadlift attempt to get 842.5 kilograms. And so I do think 860 kilograms was there. However, if we go and look at Sheffield earlier this year, Austin Perkins failed an 860 kilogram total. He ended up with 843, missing his third bench press and third deadlift. And so I would say that going into this competition, 860 kilograms for Austin Perkins isn't guaranteed. I think he can do it, but I don't think it's guaranteed. We saw that at Sheffield. Which makes this GL points battle really close. Because assuming Joe Borenstein weighs exactly 83 kilograms and Austin Perkins weighs in at exactly 74 kilograms, Joe Borenstein needs 912.5 kilograms in order to beat Austin Perkins. Like I said, from this training total, I think he has 910 kilograms. So 912.5 kilograms could be there on the day, depending on how he tapers. So I hope you can see that their top ends, according to GL points, are close. Anyone could win it. I would say that Austin Perkins still has a slightly better chance of beating Joe Borenstein, because I do think his performance at Sheffield was kind of a bad day, and I think that he will be able to execute and put up an 860 kilogram total. However, that is a tiny advantage. I think that Joe Borenstein could easily win this event, and this is going to be a one lift battle. This is going to be a battle of execution. If one person misses a lift, then they will most likely lose the event. And Joe Borenstein has showed us the execution. Austin Perkins has showed us that he can fail lifts. And so it's really going to be a battle. Anyone could win it. I'm excited because, like I said, whoever wins this does get the bragging rights. Whoever wins this in years to come can say, I won the pound for pound battle when it mattered most. So this is going to be really exciting. I can't wait for October the 11th. Joe Borenstein, as always, has surprised me with his strength. I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.